This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The one and only Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio joining us on halftime, hosting 6 to 9 WNSR, and the king of college football talk and the prince of college baseball talk. Hello, Bill. How are you today?
I got about 8 years of college baseball knowledge. It's not much.
Well, it's about the same amount of time as I have too. But I'm excited about the field of the College World Series, even though it doesn't involve Arkansas. I've had some time to move past that and just look at a ton of talent, really, a ton of talent, especially on that bracket 2 side. And I got to say, Tony V's Vols scare me right now. I think they have pitching depth. They have the kind of depth that if they have to come out of the losers bracket, and maybe they will, because I think they'll go up against Paul Skeens in that first game. But the way that they won at Clemson, winning 2 games in a really tough site that happened to be the same place that last year's national champs came out of in a super. Tennessee's been giving me Ole Miss vibes since the end of the regular season.
Yeah, LSU, when Paul Skeens is pitching, and I know Arkansas beat him, but that's probably the best team. When he's not pitching, I don't think they're the best team. I probably like Florida better, all things equal. But, yeah, it's going to be tough. Dolander, if he's who they tried out, has not had the year. Now, he's pitched pretty well the last half, but he's not had the year that was projected. Maybe that's not his fault, but that's a tough matchup with Skeens. No doubt. That's Saturday night when they go at it.
Does LSU have the kind of pitching depth to make it out of a loser's bracket? Because look, they've got a couple of guys in Hurd and Floyd that are good. Couple of bullpen arms. I like what I've seen from Riley Cooper most of the time. But
right.
Their bullpen has been, when they were struggling, it was because the bullpen blew leads.
Yeah, you're in Omaha now, and there's nothing like Alex Box, right? That's one of the true home field juggernauts. I'm skeptical there. If they're in a loser's bracket and you start running through arms, I think they're in trouble. Now, are they capable of scoring 8-10 runs and just outscoring you? Yeah. And they've been playing pretty well, and they're hitting up and down that lineup pretty well right now. So they could win that way, but as you guys know, man, you get to Omaha, man, that's a tough way to make a living.
It's true. I got to ask you, I got into college baseball 9 years ago because I was hired to broadcast college baseball. I grew up really not paying attention to it at all. What got you interested in college baseball?
Tim Corbin, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt baseball has never been something you would even notice, other than I live in Nashville. Maybe I'd see it in the paper or something, but you never noticed it. And he came from that Jack Leggett staff, as did Kevin O'Sullivan at Florida. And Bakich, also at Clemson, was part of that. And so anyways, and he came here, and with all the problems at Vanderbilt and all the complaining and all the lies that the administration has spewed about supporting athletics through the years, he's taken a program that was basically ground zero and made it into arguably, at some point, the best program in America. Probably as of about 21, you could say it was the best program in America. And they're still good. They're just not what they were. That got me going. Tennessee baseball was so bad, guys. They couldn't even get into the SEC tournament that takes 12 teams, right? So I wasn't paying attention to them, and then Tony Vols gets that job, and he's doing things that really haven't been done since Rod Delmonico, and that's 2 out of the last 3 years in the Super Regionals. And, guys, this Tennessee team replaced their entire starting lineup. And Jared Dickey was a starter, but remember, he went down about halfway last year with an ankle, never came back. He literally replaced 1 through 9, and he's in the Supers.
Bill, I was looking at Oral Roberts or Southern Miss. Give a case for which one of those teams you think could be lifting the trophy there in Omaha. They're both dark horses, huh?
No, you mean Southern Miss? Southern Miss is eliminated by Tennessee. Who's the other one? Oral Roberts and who?
I think you mean TCU? Or are you thinking TCU?
I thought Southern Miss. No, yeah, you can say
Southern Miss lost to Tennessee.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah.
No worries. Who was the Oral Roberts is red hot. At the plate right now. They are raking like crazy. Isn't that first game the Oral Roberts TCU game? Mm-hmm. Do I have that right?
That's the first game of the tournament. That's right.
I have no idea. TCU is so impressive. Going to Fayetteville and getting out of there like they did. I thought that game, too, that they scored all those runs, they probably spent themselves. Obviously not the case. And so guys, I don't think you guys gamble, but if somebody wants to gamble, bet the over. Whatever you can get on the over, get the over in that one.
I agree. I'll go in the same direction.
Bill, with Oklahoma coming in, I know with Oklahoma and Texas coming in, is there other sports? Is baseball, are they just as good as in baseball? Does it help the SEC in baseball just as it does? I know it's a football move, but both those programs are pretty salty in baseball, huh?
Correct. Texas is better right now. Texas, you guys probably saw how they lost the Stanford game. A short outfield fly ball they couldn't find in the lights walked off for Stanford to beat Texas. And imagine losing your season. Your season's over based on what you would think would be somewhat of a routine pop out. Now, you got to run because it's kind of in no man's land. But you guys seen the video? Nobody even found the ball. I mean, nobody was close. They had 4 people there and couldn't find the ball up in the lights there. But Texas baseball is very good. You got to remember, guys, before Tennessee took off in 22, and we're ranked number 1 most of the year, Texas started the season ranked number 1 a year ago.
That's right. Yeah, and they if I remember correctly, they made it into Omaha. So I mean, they kind of made it close to the promised land. But of course, we're going to see this schedule later tonight, 6:00. It sounds to me, just based on what Peter Burns tweeted out, that there's there's an Oklahoma division of the SEC and a Texas division of the SEC. Everybody's going to get either or on the schedule, not both. And the leaks are coming out. Arkansas will get Texas. A&M will get Texas. Alabama's going to go to Oklahoma. That'll be pretty interesting. But I don't think this has much to do with what the schedule will look like moving forward. This is literally a 1-year stopgap.
Correct. And if they get the money right from ESPN and it'll go to 9 immediately. All this other stuff will disappear. It's funny that nobody wants to acknowledge that, but that's what's going on here.
Yeah, let's give Oklahoma. Let's give them Georgia and Alabama, and maybe even Florida. Yeah.
One of the leaks from Georgia, somebody covers Georgia, says Georgia is in Norman in 24 that first year. Mm-hmm. Georgia goes there, according to a leak.
Are those schools? Look, I mean, we watched Arkansas wipe the field with Texas a couple of seasons ago, and they didn't really look like they were physical in nature at all. Things change very quickly in the world of college football now. So a team that doesn't look very physical, maybe this year they are, and when you're able to recruit through the transfer portal and then move into that league, it might take a couple of recruiting classes either out of the portal and from incoming freshmen to build up that trench. But I mean, these schools can come in and compete. I don't think they could maybe come in and dominate like they might expect. Like you've seen Oklahoma dominate in the Big 12 for most of that league's existence, but they can come in and compete pretty quickly because they're going to recruit well.
You would think so. Now, Venables, so far it's been real choppy, and it's early, so I don't want to overjudge him. But I think this year, visually, we need to see a couple of notches of better consistency. I don't really have a record in mind for them, but they were awful at times last year and consistently inconsistent. Texas, on the other hand, has a lot of firepower offensively. Their quarterback has a ton of ability. When he's right, he's got all the arm talent you could possibly want. Former number 1 ranked player in America. And they have a wide receiver in Xavier Worthy at Texas, who, other than Marvin Harrison Jr., is probably the best receiver in college football. You could claim that at least. And so they've got a lot of ways to hurt you this year, I think. That'll be interesting.
I'd found a fact about Arkansas' schedule for this next year. You know, they are on the road for 4 straight weeks, and that's because of the A&M game being in Arlington, and Arkansas is the designated home team for that. But they go to LSU late September, then it's the Southwest Classic in Arlington, then Oxford, then Tuscaloosa. Then you come home and play Mississippi State, then you get your bye. There's no team in the SEC that travels 4 straight weeks. There's no team in the Big Ten that does that. I would doubt that there are any teams in Power 5 football that travel like this. Nobody in the NFL does that. Arkansas is kind of like maybe this isn't the right way to put it, but it's like the northern college baseball teams that play the first month on the road. But Arkansas doesn't really have to play on the road. They just kind of made their own bed, it seems like, with scheduling non-conference games at a certain time and having to have the A&M game at a certain time of the year always. But man, that's an outlier. Arkansas is an outlier because of being on the road for 4 straight weeks.
In the toughest league on the planet. And the toughest division. The last year of that division, but the toughest division on the planet. So, yeah, that's unforgiving right there, to say the least.
How are you about the doing away with divisions? Matt and I have talked about this, and it's like I like the idea of the 2 top records playing against each other because they have the top records. But Matt makes a salient point that at least somebody that played everybody in one division won that division. Same on the other side. And you can point to, well, here's a champion against a champion for a league championship. You can go around and around about this, and what they've already decided. But I wonder, what do you think about the doing away with divisions in college football now?
I don't really care. I'm happy both ways. But I will give you an interesting tidbit. They're doing away with divisions pretty much everywhere, Big Ten. That means some year in the Big Ten, Michigan and Ohio State could play 3 times. Once we get to 12 teams, right? They play the last regular season game. That will stay. They could play now in the Big Ten championship game, a week later, and then in the playoffs. How about that?
Ratings, too. I mean, that's ratings. People would tune in to watch.
Huge. And Georgia and Alabama, they're not in the same division, but they don't play every year like Michigan and Ohio State do, but we may see them play twice like we've seen in the past in a season, more commonly in the future too.
Hey, before we let you go, Father's Day Sunday, you usually do the cooking for your family. Does anybody cook for you on Father's Day?
Not really. My wife came home with about an 18-pound brisket yesterday, so I know what we're having. And we got a lot of stuff we put with it. But if you're smoking a brisket, there's really no cooking. You put it on the grill and you walk away until it's ready. That's all you do. It's not like you're doing anything,
I've seen some briskets that are leaving the fat on as I watch TikTok for my cooking videos now. Are you fat on or fat off?
Now, what do you mean? Trimming the fat, or you mean
leave it on? They just leave it all on.
It depends. Now, if it's real thick, I'll trim it down. If it's just sloppy, I always trim it some. But no. And I cook fat side up, too. That's a big debate out there about fat side down, fat side up. Always fat side up for us. And just walk away until the internal gets to about 195 to 200, and then you got your brisket. Now, this 18-pounder means it's about an 18, 20-hour cook. So I'll have to start that one the day before.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your championship finals info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and the latest matchup reports for this year's NBA and Stanley Cup Finals. BetOnline is your sports intel headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your insider sports wagering needs, from baseball and hockey to MLB, UFC, and boxing. The fastest and easiest way to get all your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your home. Get in the action today. Head over to our website or use your mobile device to join, and be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive 50% bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.